Music is arguably one of the most influential portions of art ever. Don't believe me? Look at the world around you. From film, to cultures, to countries across the world, and even animals. We all have one major thing in common.
Led Zeppelin.
The Grateful Dead band.
U2.
The one and only David Bowie.
Music.
So I was doing an interview with KNBA in Anchorage, and the DJ asked me who my favorite musician was. And I said, my daughter Megan. This was before we had Sydney. But my daughter Megan she played piano and sang. And it really touched me that he asked this question. It brought out a lot of emotion because I was talking about how music brought her so much peace. So as a mom, to get to see her feel a little bit of relief by playing the piano, it really helped me know I was being a good mom and providing her with some tools, coping mechanism, and we would all enjoy her music. So I told the DJ, I'm like, thanks for asking me that question. No one's asked me that before.
One reason is because of his humanity and his belief in others and his willingness to push boundaries. I think I've always liked his music from the moment I heard it. I didn't know it was David Bowie, but as I went through high school, I listened to more and more of his albums, and it's been a lifelong companion in terms of having a favorite artist. I could always go back to some Bowie songs and find something new, because he was ahead of his time, really, in so many ways. I have a brief Bowie encounter when I was my first year in graduate school in New York City. It must have been around 2001, and I was walking in the Village, and I was going, I can't remember what street, maybe Mulberry or somewhere, and I saw him and Iman walking together, and I was walking towards them, and I couldn't believe that I was about to cross David Bowie and his iconic model partner on the streets of New York City. But I didn't want to accost him. I just kept going, walked toward him, and just said, appreciate your music, and kept going, and just smiled. And the reason I did that is because I think artists often go to New York City for that sense of anonymity. So unlike many other places, someone probably would have accosted them on the street and asked for an autograph or a hug or something, but I think New Yorkers often avoid that because they don't want to seem lame, and it's New York City, and we've seen that and been there, done that. So yeah, it was a good moment. It's a good memory that I can always talk about. How cool is it to meet a musical hero of yours?
So I grew up liking 70s rock, and Led Zeppelin was my band of choice. And when people think of Led Zeppelin, a lot of people just think, early heavy metal, stuff like that. My younger brother and I, when we were in high school, we shared a bedroom. We used to put in a cassette tape of Led Zeppelin every night, and that would be the last thing we'd hear before we'd go to sleep. One of my favorite performances was when Prince, he played with Tom Petty and a number of other artists, and they played While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and Prince did the final guitar solo and just thrashed on the guitar. It was one of the cleanest live performances ever, and at the end of it, he finishes and he throws his guitar and it just disappears up into the air, and you never see it come down. It was an iconic guitar performance.
So why does any of this matter? Why does music have a habit of capturing people's hearts and never quite letting go? Really, it all depends on who you ask. Some people will brush it off, saying, music doesn't matter all that much. But personally, I think it's because music brings people together. No matter where you're from, there's always some form of music. And no matter who you are, there's always something you'll enjoy, and people around you that will enjoy it too. Hi, I'm Sydney Marie Loomis. MEHS, and I'm the one who worked on putting this short film, documentary, whatever you want to call it, together. And the main reason I did this is because I really do value music in many ways. It's helped me get through a lot, and I think it's helped everyone get through a lot, really. And it's something that's not one-dimensional. Music has a lot of layers. There's always been some sort of music. The first real instrument to be made was drums, and the rhythmic beat echoes a heartbeat. And majority of the time, if you go back far enough, the main forms of communication, not just between people, but animals, the earliest form of communication was a rhythmic chant. And for animals, there's some form of communication between all animals, even if it's not something we can hear. Even if it's a blue whale being louder than any other animal, singing something that we can't hear because it's below our range, that is still a form of rhythm, of beat. Music is just such an important thing in this world, and it's something that I don't think anyone will ever fully be able to wrap their minds around. And I've always been very fascinated with that. So I wanted to express that in this short film.